Good evening, everyone. This is Alan Long coming to you live from Yasharon, Israel. Today is 8/10, 2018 biblical time, or it's February 28th, 2015 Gregorian time. It's the year 2018 Bible time. We're almost into the year 2019. Bible time is 4 years ahead of Gregorian time. Our subject for today is the inspiration of the Almighty. And to begin with, we're going to go to Job 32, verse 8 and verse 8. But there is a spirit in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty giveth them understanding. So, inspiration is how you get understanding through your spirit. And Amos 3:7 says, Surely the Yahweh will do nothing, but he revealed his secret unto his servants the prophets. The only way you can understand the scriptures is through his servants the prophets, through inspiration. This is how he wrote the Bible down through the ages, through his prophets, through inspiration, and this is how he reveals the understanding of the scriptures, is through inspiration. Because if we go to 2 Chronicles 20 and verse 20, it says, And they rose up early in the morning and went forth into the wilderness of Tekoa, and as they went forth, Jehoshaphat stood and said, Hear me, O Judah, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Believe in the Yah your Yil, so shall you be established. Believe his prophets, so shall you prosper. Well, we know the history of Israel. Most of the time they wouldn't believe the prophets, and so they went into captivity as a result. Now, if somebody comes to you and claiming to have a prophetic message, and you kind of doubt that message, well, what would you do in order to decide whether that message was true or false? Well, the Spirit of Prophecy says that we should take it to Isaiah 20, and so we do. And then Isaiah 20 says, To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, is because there is no light in them. So, any message that someone claiming inspiration would teach, you have to take this to the law and the testimony. Now, most people don't understand even what the law and testimony is. Without going into a lot of study on it, I'm going to just tell you right off that the law is the book of the law of Moses, written by Moses and put in the side part of the ark, Deuteronomy 31, 24, 26, and also Nahum chapter 8, verses 1 and 8 says it's the book of the law of Moses is the book of the law of Yah. Yah just spoke it. Moses wrote it. And the testimony is the Ten Commandments. Exodus 31:18 says, 2 tables of testimony. So we got to take it to the Ten Commandments and the law of Moses to see if it is according to the law and testimony whenever they claim to have a message. And if they have a heaven-sent message, then it would come by the Spirit of truth, because it says in the book of John chapter 16 and verse 13 says, Howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will lead you into all truth. I can get there. So, 16:13. Howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. This is, of course, the Holy Spirit, inspiration. And he will guide you into all truth, not just some of it, but everything you need to know to save your soul. For he shall not speak of himself, whatsoever he shall hear, that shall he speak, and he will show you things to come. So the Spirit of truth will show you what is coming upon this world in the end time, and to be prepared and to be ready. So the Spirit of truth is coming to you live today. It also says here in the book of John, chapter 15, and verse 26, But when the Comforter is come, whom I will send unto you from the Father, even the Spirit of truth, which proceedeth from the Father, he shall testify of me, and ye also shall bear witness, because ye have been with me from the beginning. So we know that this Spirit of truth is going to testify of Yahshua. It's the Comforter, it's the Holy Spirit. He said he had to go so that he could send him that Spirit. And then John 14:28 says, Ye have heard how I said unto you, I go away and come again unto you. If ye loved me, you would rejoice, because I said, I go unto the Father, for my Father is greater than I. Okay, so the Father is greater than Yahshua even. Now in verse 26 says, But the Comforter, which is the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name. That name is Yahshua. And you're seeing it being used for the first time here. He shall teach you all things and bring all things to your remembrance whatsoever I have said unto you. So this is how you learn things. It's the inspiration of the Almighty, and this is how you are taught things, is by the Comforter, the Holy Spirit, teach you into all truth. Go ahead.
Okay, so I just want to make a point where you said that we're to take it to the law and to the testimony. And the understanding that many of us Seventh-day Adventists might have had is that what we're being told is that the law and the testimony is the 10 Commandments and Ellen G. White's writings. But when that was written, take it to the law and the testimony in Isaiah, Ellen G. White wasn't even born yet. So it doesn't make sense that that would be the testimony that you take it to. So we need to know what the law and the testimony is. And one of the reasons why we don't know what the law is because of Daniel 7:25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. He wants you to forget the laws, the law of Moses. So when you have truth, take it to the law of Moses and take it to the testimony of the 10 Commandments.
Right, and laws and times is plural, meaning more than one. It wasn't just the 7-day Sabbath that the man of sin changed to the Dark Ages. It was all the laws of the sanctuary that he set up false feasts of the man of sin, and they were substituted for Yah's true holy days, which are in Leviticus 23. Now, in Council of Self-Score, page 25, Ellen G. White gives us this message. There is yet much precious truth to be revealed to the people in this time of peril and darkness, but it is Satan's determined purpose to prevent the light of truth from shining into the hearts of men. If we would have the light that has been provided for us, we should show our desire for it by diligently searching the Word of Yah. Precious truths that have long been in obscurity are to be revealed in a light that will make manifest their sacred worth. For Yah will glorify His Word, that it may appear in a light in which we have never before beheld it. See, that's why it's new light, because you ain't never seen it like this before. But those who profess to love the truth must put to the stretch their powers, that they may comprehend the deep things of the Word, that Yah may be glorified and His people may be blessed and enlightened. With humble hearts subdued by the grace of Yah, you should come to the task of searching the Scriptures, prepared to accept every ray of divine light and to walk in the way of holiness.
Hallelujah. Every ray of divine light. Now, what else does Ellen G. White say about messages? Now, we do know that people think that Ellen G. White was the last prophet, and we also know that there are Shepherd's Rod people who think Hadif was the last prophet, but we have a message here from Ellen G. White. This is what she says. Yahshua was given the message, full of blessings of his power. He came to redeem humanity, and he will continue to send message after message to save his flock from satanic delusions. He will not cease to send messages until the redeemed universe shall be at rest. Letter 100, March 23, 1906. The other one I want to read to you is October 12, 1875, letter 34. I stated at the 1888 General Conference session that there was to be special light for Yah's people as they neared the closing scenes of this earth's history. Another angel was to come down from heaven with a message, and the whole earth was to be lighted with his glory. It would be impossible for us to state just how this additional light will come. It is not at all unlikely or contrary to the ways and works of Yah to send light to his people in unexpected ways. Would it be right that every avenue should be closed? So here we see that it's going to come in an unexpected way. It's not going to come from the conference. Let me tell you what Ted Wilson says, and then I will give you two quotes from Ellen G. White. And you tell me what these two contrary statements are telling you today. Let's go with Ellen G. White first. She says, Yah would have his people disciplined and brought into harmony of action, that they may see eye to eye and be of the same mind and the same judgment, in order to bring about this state of things. There is much to be done, The carnal heart must be subdued and transformed. Yah designs that there shall ever be a living testimony in the church. Volume 3, Testimonies, page 360. So here we see that Hadif, who died in 1955, cannot be the last prophet because there's supposed to be a living testimony. Ellen G. White herself, this is her quote. She says there ever is to be a living testimony. Let's also read volume 3, page 361.3. Yah designs that his people shall be a unit, that they shall see eye to eye and be of the same mind and of the same judgment. This cannot be accomplished without a clear, pointed, living testimony in the church.
Right, and so Ellen G. White's been in her grave for 100 years. P.T. Hadif has been in his grave for 60 years. They are not a living testimony today. They are dead and gone. So you have to have living inspiration in your midst to guide you into the everlasting kingdom of Yah. As it says in Isaiah 52 and verse 7. How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that publishes peace, that bringeth good tidings of good, that publishes salvation, that saith unto Zion, thy Yah reigneth. Thy watchmen shall lift up the voice, with the voice together shall they sing, for they shall see eye to eye when the Yah shall bring again Zion. So the only way that you can have your people seeing eye to eye is you have to have a clear, pointed, living testimony in your midst today. And if we go to this publishing work, we go to Nahum chapter 1 and verse 15. We'll see what that says. It's talking about our day, and it says, it's kind of going along with what Isaiah said in Isaiah 52:7. Behold upon the mountains the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that publishes peace. O Judah, keep thy solemn feast, perform thy vows, for the wicked shall no more pass through thee, he is utterly cut off. So the one who's up on the mountains publishing peace is the one that's publishing his creation calendar, which shows you when to keep the solemn feast. And if you are keeping these solemn feasts, then you will not be cut off, because if you do get cut off, that means you're classed with the wicked. And the wicked are the violators of the law of Moses. So we are today publishing salvation, publishing peace, publishing creation calendar, publishing the truth for Yah's people to come into the everlasting kingdom and to deliver and save their souls, because precious light is to shine from the word of Yah, it says. Precious light is to shine forth from the word of Yah, and let no one presume to dictate what shall or what shall not be brought before the people in the messages of enlightenment that he shall send, and so quench the spirit of Yah. Ellen G. White says right there, he is going to send messages of light. You better be ready. If you fight against it, you're going to quench that spirit and lose your soul. Whatever may be his position of authority, even if he's the president of the General Conference, no one has a right to shut away the light from the people. When a message comes in the name of the Yah to his people, no one may excuse himself from an investigation of its claims. No one can afford to stand back in an attitude of indifference and self-confidence and say, I know what is truth. I am satisfied with my position. I have set my stakes, and I will not be moved away from my position, whatever may come. I will not listen to the message of this messenger, for I know that it cannot be true. It is from pursuing this very course that the popular churches were left in partial darkness, and that is why the messages of heaven have not reached them. Same thing for the Adventist church. They are left in darkness, and the messages of heaven have not reached them today, because they have that attitude that they know what is truth, and they've set their stakes, and they won't move on.
But let me read to you here, folks, what Ted Wilson of the Adventist Church actually said. This is a quote from him, taken from a statement in the UK, July 4th, 2014. He says, the challenge that we have is that we do not have the presence of Shekinah, glory. We do not have the cloud over the tabernacle. We do not have the Urim and the Thummim. We do not have a living prophet to kind of give us direct information, so one of the last ways that we have of deciding things is to bring in the world body, and the world body makes a decision. So we see that they say the world body, which we know the General Conference is about to happen in San Antonio, Texas this July. They bring you in, they make a vote. They've been making votes at every conference that goes against Yah. almost every time they get together, they bring in something like, I don't remember what year it was, but they brought in the New King James Version, which is from the Catholic Latin Vulgate. And then the whole church is using the New King James. So here, Ted Wilson says that we do not have a living prophet. Yet Ellen G. White states that there is to be a living testimony. There is to be a living prophet that is to come to the church. And she also says, if a message comes that you do not understand, take pains that you may hear the reasons the messenger may give. This is new to you because they will not let light come into the church. But if you don't understand it, you are still supposed to listen. For your position will not be shaken by coming in contact with error. There is not virtue or manliness in keeping continual warfare in the dark. Closing your eyes lest ye may see, closing your ears lest you may hear, hardening your heart in ignorance and unbelief, lest you may have to humble yourselves and acknowledge that you have received light on some points of truth. So Ted Wilson says there is no living prophecy. Ellen G. White says that there is to be a living testimony. We know that there will be messages until the universe is at rest.
Right. And I want to read something, Testimonies to Ministers and Workers. This is page 106, about the leading brethren and what they try to do to dissuade the message of heaven from reaching the flock, the famishing flock. And it says right here, the Yah often works where we least expect him. He surprises us by revealing his power through instruments of his own choice, while he passes by the men to whom we have looked as those through whom light should come. Yah desires us to receive the truth upon its own merits because it is truth. We should make the Bible its own expositor, and we should introduce nothing that will cause dissension without clear evidence that it is Yah is giving a special message for this time. But beware of rejecting that which is truth. The great danger with our people has been that of depending upon men and making flesh their arm. Those who have not been in the habit of searching the Bible for themselves or weighing evidence have confidence in the leading men and accept the decisions they make. And thus many will reject the very messages Yah sends to his people if these leading brethren do not accept them. So this is the position the Adventist church is today. Well, what does the pastor say, or what does the conference leader say? And well, if he doesn't, he's more worthy than me to study new truth and new light. So I'll just take whatever decision he makes. Well, it says, if you do, then you're making flesh your arm, and then you're going to go down the same road of destruction that they're going down, because they will not accept inspiration from Yah's own people, the ones he chooses. He picks the ones he wants. And it passes by these leading brethren that are general conference leaders, because they won't accept it. They won't do what he's called them to do. And so this is why the message of heaven don't reach them. He has to choose another avenue to send light to and to bring it to the people. And one of these is given here by Ellen G. White. This is in, I think it's in Councils of Right, or it's in a letter she wrote to S.N. Haskell in May of 1892. It says, I saw that Yah would raise up a Joshua that would lead us into the kingdom. So this Joshua is someone other than herself, and he's going to lead us into the kingdom. And it says, there is danger of our being so overzealous to keep out of Babylon that we would commit our most noted blunder, that of striking a stake and refusing to pull it up and advance. And when we cease to unlearn errors, we shall fall like those who have gone before us. So here's the key: you got to unlearn errors if you don't want to fall by the wayside. So then Ellen G. White also said, we have many things to learn and many, many things to unlearn. We have learned much, and no doubt there is much more for us to learn. Yeah, there's a lot more still. It is the follow on and go through spirit that will finally land the remnant without fault on the heavenly Mount Zion. So she's going to raise up a Joshua that's going to lead us into the kingdom, and we've got to unlearn errors and keep on keeping on. You just can't depend upon the leading brethren to make flesh your arm, because they will lead you down a wrong path. Now let's go also to Testimonies of Ministers, page 475. I know you Shepherd Drive people are very familiar with this, and it says here, Prophecy must be fulfilled. The Yah says, Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Yah. Somebody is to come in the spirit and power of Elijah. And when he appears, men may say, You're too earnest, you did not interpret the scriptures in the proper way. Let me tell you how to teach your message. And so there's to be a Joshua and a Elijah to come on the scene in the last days with a message from heaven for Yah's people, because that's what Malachi 4 says in verse 4. Remember ye the law of Moses my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb for all Israel with the statutes and judgments. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Yah. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to the fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. So he's going to send Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day. He's got to give his people a warning message. He only does it through his prophets. And that message is to remember the law of Moses with the statutes and judgments. And that is what we are teaching, is the statutes of Leviticus 23. Yah's holy feast days are to be kept today according to his true time creation calendar. And Sharon will explain what verse 6 means about turning the hearts of the fathers to the children.
So the children and the fathers. The children are the children of the promise. They're the children of the seed. They're the 144,000 children of Yah. They have in them the blood of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they are part of this, remember the law of Moses, this Malachi message, which the word Malachi means message. They, their hearts turn to the fathers. Why? Because there's promises that were given that the children are going to become the stars of heaven, or the children are going to become a great multitude, or the children, we have, it says that the 144,000 come from each, 12,000 from each tribe. And people think, well, I'm not Jewish, but you have Hebrew blood, and you may not even know it. This has been blocked from you by the Jesuits, by the Catholics. There are so many people that were forced to become some other religion, mostly Catholic. And Ellen G. White says that the sealing of the 144,000 is the closing work for the church. So we know that the Hebrew blood is in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. So how does this bring the hearts of the children to the fathers? By understanding what the fathers kept. They kept the law of Moses. The children keep the law of Moses. The Catholic Church has wanted to block, to trodden down the law of Moses. Why do we need the law of Moses? Because then that is our salvation, to understand when he is in the sanctuary, giving and blotting out your sins, giving you blood, sprinkling you to cleanse you, to give you a new garment. These are the things the 144,000 are going to learn in the 3-year period when they come together. We have light on the 3-year period. We know that it's going to begin at a Passover. If you refuse to go by what your fathers went by, the law of Moses, then you can't know when he's coming, because you're not using his calendar. There's only 2 kingdoms. There's the kingdom of the beast, which we know is run by the entire Catholic Church and the Jesuits, and they've overrun the whole world. They rule businesses, they rule governments, they rule churches, and there's only the kingdom of Yah filled with the 144,000 that are in waiting. They're preserved right now, and they're all to come forth for a 3-year period to understand how they wash their garments and get new garments. So this love that they get when they hear the truth, they are the sheep, they hear Yasha speaking to them, saying, this is how you'll be able to stand. Wipe your sins, blot it out with my blood daily, weekly, monthly, seasonally, and once a year. So this year, from Passover to Atonement, you want to come where the Yah chooses to place his name, where the children get their sins blotted out the same way their fathers got their sins blotted out. The same system, except before it was by animals, and now it's through Yasha, his own blood. The blood of the Son is what washes you today. So we know more studies at our website, timesandlaws.wordpress.com. If you're still don't understand this is something out of the blue to you, we have more studies about that.
Right. I'll read one more thing about God's going to send a message to his people in the last days. This is Gospel Workers, page 301. It says, as a people we are called individually to be students of prophecy. So that's what the Adventist people are called, to be students of prophecy. So if you don't know what the prophets teach, then you will not know what the time of the end is and how to deliver yourself. It says, the present attitude of the SDA Church is not pleasing to Yah. There has come in a self-confidence that has led them to feel no necessity for more truth and greater light. Yeah, that's what Revelation 3:14-17 says. Enriched and increased with goods and have need of nothing. We are living at a time when Satan is at work on the right hand and on the left, before and behind us, and yet as a people we are asleep. Yah wills that a voice shall be heard arousing his people to action. And this is it. Inspiration is Yah's voice to his people today. Inspiration of Almighty through his prophets. Ellen G. White said, I think in General Conference Bulletin 1903, that these men, the General Conference leaders, should be as the voice of Yah to the people. That is past. They no longer are. And so if you're listening to your General Conference leaders, your church pastors, and your Texas Conference leaders and all that, you ain't getting no inspiration. You're going to be left in darkness, and you won't make it when the loud cry goes forth. So, what is the test of new light? Here it is. Our brethren should be willing to investigate in a candid way every point of controversy. And one of the controversies in the Adventist Church today is the feast days. And they're not, most people, they don't want to accept it. They teach error, saying it's nailed to the cross, that all the feast days and sacrifice and everything was all the same, and that when you did away with the sacrifice, you did away with the feast days. Well, that's not what the Bible teaches, and not even what Sister White teaches. So if a brother is teaching error, those who are in responsible positions ought to know it, and if he is teaching truth, they ought to take their stand at his side. Now, they don't do that. If that's their counsel, they should know if he's teaching truth or error. How do they know? We'll find out. We should all know what is being taught among us, for if it is truth, we need it. So you need truth in a bad way.
You're starving. You're starving.
The love of the truth is what delivers your soul. 2 Thessalonians 2. So we are all under obligation to Yah to know what he sends us. And we're sending you messages today. You're under obligation to study and understand these messages. He has given directions by which we may test every doctrine. To the law and to the testimony. If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. If the light presented meets this test, we are not to refuse to accept it because it does not agree with our ideals. So here you go. If this light is according to the law and testimony, you have to accept it or be cut off. So it says, when a doctrine is presented that does not meet our minds, we should go to the Word of Yah, seek the Yah in prayer, and give no place for the enemy to come in with suspicion and prejudice. We should never permit the spirit to be manifested that arraigned the priests and rulers against the Redeemer of the world. They complained that he disturbed the people, and they wished he would let them alone, for he caused perplexity and dissension. The Yah sends light to us to prove what manner of spirit we are of. We are not to deceive ourselves. So here's why it's why he sends you new light, new truth, is to prove what kind of spirit you have. And many people are deceived, don't realize that they have an evil spirit that rejects heaven-sent messages. She also says, we must not trust to others to search the scriptures for us. So don't let somebody else be your spokesperson on what is truth and error. You have to search the scriptures for yourself through the aid and inspiration of the Almighty. So we must not trust to others to search the scriptures for us. Some of our leading brethren have frequently taken their position on the wrong side, and if Yah would send a message and wait for those older brethren to open the way for its advancement, it would never reach the people. These brethren will be found in this position until they become partakers of the divine nature to a greater extent than ever they have been in the past. So this is what it says, Yah would send a message if these older brethren, leading brethren, the ones that are the ancient men before the house, and wait for it to reach the people. They will never reach there because the Jesuits are there. They're going to block it. These gatekeepers are there to keep heaven-sent messages from reaching Yah's people. So wake up, realize that there is a lot more for the Advent people to learn, to prepare for the wedding supper with the Lamb. And this is how you can come into the everlasting kingdom and be delivered from the time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation. You have to get your name written in the Lamb's Book of Life, otherwise then you'll be cut off and you'll go through hell in the latter days.
One last thing that I want to say is that there are 4 feeding flocks. So you might be from the Seventh-day Adventist Church or any subset of it. You could be a Reform, you could be a Historical Adventist, you could be any of that. You could be from the Shepherd's Rod flock and say, well, no, we're not supposed to have another prophet. Hoddif was the last prophet. You could be from the Gilead flock, or you can come into the last flock where all the truth is being given now. Okay? This is the flock of Yasharon, and you can find our studies about this on our website. But I just wanted to say that if you are a feast keeper and you think that you have all the truth, you have to understand why even keeping the feast is and how to do it properly, and you have to know when to do it. We have many people who are feast keepers but are also refusing the light of the last days. We have latter-day secrets to reveal to you. We have a message from the little child. Who is this little child prophet? We have the prophet Samuel. There is type and antitype in these messages. We have who are the vessels of the ministry. What will the 144,000 be doing? When is the gathering going to happen? Where will they gather to? Do you know that there's a barn, a storehouse where the tithe, the 144,000 are considered a tithe for the Yah, and they will be gathered to a special place in an emergency situation. Do you know who the bride is? Do you know who, what the marriage feast actually is? There's the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Who are they? What's the new wine and how do we accept it? What's the kingdom message? How does he open our understanding? When do you leave the cities? These things are messages that have come after the truth that you already have. The only way for you to be accepted by Yah is to increase your talent. If you learned about the feast days, you have one talent. You have to increase that when he comes back. You're afraid that he is an austere man and you don't want to go by a false prophet, but prove that it's false.
Right. So about these feeding pastures, let's turn to Micah chapter 7 and read verse 14. It says, feed thy people with the rod, the flock of thine heritage. So the feed the people with the rod is a message. Got to come in the rod under the bond of the covenant in Ezekiel 20. The flock, of course, is his people. They're a flock of sheep. He says, in Matthew, he says, go not to the Gentiles, but go ye to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Don't go in the way of the Samaritans. So this is our message, is to bring forth the lost sheep of the house of Israel into this fourth fold or fourth flock. So here we have, feed thy people with the rod, the flock of thine heritage. We're this heritage today, his seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which dwell solitarily in the wood in the midst of Carmel. Let them feed in Bashan and Gilead as in the days of old. So here are 3 feeding pastures, Bashan, Carmel, and Gilead. They have all brought messages, heaven-sent messages, messages of inspiration to Yah's people, beginning in 1844, all the way down to 2015, even today. So now these 3 feeding pastures that we just read about are off the scene, and today we have a 4th one. I want to read about it in Isaiah 65 verse 8. It says, thus saith the Yah, As the new wine is found in the cluster, the new wine here is new truth, new light, new understanding of the scriptures. So we have new wine for you that you need to come and drink of. And one saith, destroy it not, for a blessing is in it. So will I do for my servants' sakes, that I may not destroy them all. You go to Revelation 7:1-4, you find out these servants are the 144,000. So he seals the servants in their foreheads. Verse 9, and I will bring forth a seed out of Jacob, and out of Judah, an inheritor of my mountains, mountains is churches, house of Yah, and mine elect shall inherit it, and my servants shall dwell there. So his elect also are the 144,000, his servants are the 144,000. That's who he's talking about. This is our message today, is to gather and bring forth the 144,000 first fruits, so that they can be harvested, and he can bring forth the great multitude and bring the sinful world to its end. Verse 10 says, and Sharon shall be a fold of flocks. So here Sharon is also a fold of flocks, as it says here, feed my people with thy rod, the flock of thine heritage. Those were flocks over there, Bashan, Carmel, and Gilead. Now this fourth flock is Sharon, and this is where our headquarters is Yasharon, Sharon, or Israel. The name Yah is given us, and has chooses to place his name there. And we will give you the location of this place if you contact us and want to find out more. The valley of Acre for a place for the herds of sheep to lie down in, for my people that have sought me. Like Sister White said, you got to search the scriptures. You got to seek me with all your heart, soul, mind, and body and spirit. And then you'll find me. Seek me with all your heart, and you shall find me. Verse 11, but ye are they that forsake the Yah. These are the ones that won't have any new truth and new light coming to him. They forsake him. They trust in their ministers and pastors and make flesh their own. That forget my holy mountain, his church, that prepare a table for that troop, and that furnish the drink offering for that number of the ones that are not redeemed. It says, therefore will I number you to the sword, and you shall all bow down to the slaughter, because when I called, ye did not answer, when I spake, ye did not hear, but did evil before mine eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. So when we're here giving you a message from heaven and you won't hear it, you won't answer, then you're on the wrong side of Yah, and he doesn't delight in you. Verse 13, therefore thus saith the Yah, behold, my servants, 4,000, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry, those that won't hear and accept the new light. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Jeremiah 8:20 says, the harvest is past, the summer is ended, we are not saved. And when that comes to pass and you're not saved, you're going to be ashamed. Verse 14, behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. That's what Matthew says. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And that's what happens if you miss out, if you don't get harvested and you miss out on this great harvest of the first fruit saints here in these latter days, the great and dreadful day of Yah. Verse 15, and he shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen. The name he leaves for a curse is Seventh-day Adventists. He's going to leave the name Seventh-day Adventists for a curse, and his chosen are the 144,000 first fruits. For the Yah shall slay thee, Ezekiel 9, and call his servants by another name. And this is the name we're called by, is Yasharon, Jerusalem, the fold of Sharon today. This is the fourth block, and we're calling, our message is calling everybody into this flock. Keep this holy feast, keep your vows, and so that you'll not be cut off and be classed with the wicked.
Come into the place of safety.
Right.
During the time of trouble that will be starting after the atonement of next year. You need to come and
when the Pope comes.
Right. When the Pope comes, this is a sign.
Right.
If you can't see it, then you have to be blind.
Right.
We know where the flock will be kept safe. So get to know us. Write to us. Write down below. Give us a message, and we'll get it, and we'll contact you. We want to teach you everything that we have, that the Yah has been given to us in these last days. We're talking fast. We're giving you things, but we have stuff that is even fresher that we've been receiving to give to his flock. We have to start somewhere. So if this is too new and we're going too fast, We can do a special video for those questions that you might have, but I have to tell you that when Yasha goes out to get his bride, he actually sends a servant to go get the bride. So there will be somebody that will be bringing you the messages. So if you don't have somebody that you're listening to, if Yah is not telling anybody anything in the Adventist church, then you have to know that they're in darkness. And Hosea 12:13 says, and by a prophet the Yah brought Israel out of Egypt, and by a prophet was he preserved. He, in Matthew 18, talks about this prophet that he sets, and he calls it a little child. Why does this prophet get that title, a little child? Because he doesn't come from the Adventist theological seminary. Why would he if it's been taken over by Jesuits? So we want you to know that Yah has a plan for you. He has a place of safety where you will go and be anointed. We have a prophecy about this. So we just want you to know that this is just a beginning. We will be putting more videos on here for you if you want to know the latter truth for the last days.
Right. We'll close with this. This is a commission Yasha gave to his disciples in Matthew 10, 5 to 8. These 12 Yasha sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the ways of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So this is our message. Must first go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, get them gathered into the kingdom, and then you can save all the rest of the world, the great multitude, in Revelation 7:9. It says, And as you go, preach, saying, The kingdom of heaven is at hand. And that's right. This is our message. This is the kingdom of heaven. It's right here. And it's an ark of safety to deliver yourself from the time of trouble in the latter days. He's going to put a wall of fire around his chosen ones, protect them from the evil that's in the world, and deliver them up to his Father in heaven. May Yah and Yasha bless everyone that hears this message, and may the Spirit of truth, Spirit of inspiration enter your heart and guide you into all truth is our prayer for you.